In the region now, but shifting focus, Gaza's Civil Defense Agency reported that 15 people, including 10 from the same family, have been killed in 2 overnight Israeli strikes. Civil Defense spokesman Mahmoud Basal said on Telegram that our crews recovered the bodies of 10 martyrs and a large number of wounded from the house of Baraka family and the neighbouring houses targeted by the Israeli occupation forces in the Bani Sahalia area east of Khan Yunis in the southern Gaza Strip. The Israeli military has not issued any immediate comment, but it says it looks into the reports of the strikes. Meanwhile, Hamas has rejected Israel's latest former proposal for an interim peace deal. The group says it is pushing instead for a comprehensive agreement, one that would end the war in Gaza entirely and include a full exchange of all Israeli hostages for Palestinians held in Israeli prisons. Israel's most recent offer reportedly involved a 45-day ceasefire in exchange for the release of 10 hostages. Hamas has turned that down, demanding that all 59 remaining hostages, only 24 of whom are believed to be still alive, be released under a broader deal that halts the conflict for good. Here is what the Hamas negotiator had to say.
الاتفاقات الجزئية التي يستعملها نتنياهو وحكومته هي غطاء لأجندته السياسية القائمة على استمرار الحرب والإبادة والتجويع حتى لو كان الثمن التضحية بأسراه جميعا ولن نكون جزءا من تمرير هذه السياسة.
Once again, staying in the Middle East, Lebanon's health ministry has said that an Israeli strike hit a vehicle near the southern coastal city of Sidon, killing 1 person. At the scene of the strike, members of the security forces stood guard as a crowd gathered to look at the charred remains of the vehicle after firemen had put out the blaze. There was no immediate claim of responsibility for the strike, but the Israeli ministry has said it was behind the previous attacks this week that it said killed members of the Iran-backed Hezbollah movement. Meanwhile, Hezbollah insists that it is adhering to the November ceasefire, even as Israeli attacks persist. Now to the diplomatic world of the Middle East, where the head of the UN's nuclear watchdog says Iran and the United States have entered a critical stage in talks over Tehran's advancing nuclear program. Speaking from Tehran, Rafael Mariano Grossi said his agency will likely play a key role in verifying any future agreements between the two sides. US and Iranian officials will meet again on the 19th of April, continuing negotiations that began last weekend in Oman. Grossi's visit overlapped with a high-level trip by Saudi Arabia's defense minister, Prince Khalid bin Salman, who became the most senior Saudi official to visit Iran since the two countries restored ties through a China-mediated agreement last year. Saudi Arabia is working to end its war with Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen, even as US airstrikes continue targeting the group. At the Kremlin, Russian President Vladimir Putin met with Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi to discuss the US-Iran negotiations and Russia's own diplomatic talks with Washington.
That you waved off an Israeli plan to attack Iranian nuclear facilities?
I wouldn't say waved off. I'm not in a rush to do it because I think that Iran has a chance to have a great country and to live happily without death. And I'd like to see that. That's my first option. If there's a second option, I think it would be very bad for Iran. And I think Iran is wanting to talk.
Meanwhile, President Donald Trump may soon walk away from peace talks between Russia and Ukraine, according to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who said the US needs to see real progress within days. Let's take a listen in to what Rubio had to say.
Came here yesterday to sort of begin to talk about more specific outlines of what it might take to end a war, to try to figure out very soon, and I'm talking about a matter of days, not a matter of weeks, whether or not this is the war that can be ended. If it can, we're prepared to do whatever we can to facilitate that and make sure that it happens, that it ends in a durable and just way. If it's not possible, if we're so far apart that this is not going to happen, then I think the president's